Oh, by the way, let's talk about the cover too. The cover was inspired by this cover by PLAVE long ago. Not the song itself, but just what it represents. I saw this cover by Bambi of Pretender by Official Higadandism, and I looked at it and I was like, wow, this music video is very simple. It's just the train and some lyrics below. And then I realized when I was watching that, and they have a bunch of covers like this, where it's just an art, maybe some little animations, and just the lyrics and then the vocals. Then I realized, you know, some of these covers, they don't all have to be big productions, big expensive productions. They don't all have to have a whole music video, an art, a mix, you know, animations and stuff like that. Especially if I was gonna do like a small little nice little Christmas cover, we can just do something simple. And so yeah, what that kind of represented to me was just this notion that yeah, it doesn't have to be expensive, because I also was thinking of, funny enough, I was thinking of one of the puppets who is a little kid on Twitter. I keep mentioning them, but they post, their mother posts on Twitter, I assume it's her mother, and they post this little kid who makes like scuffits, actually makes scuffits, and sang the Octavius Puppet Show. And you know what? They also submitted to Omen Ollelujah. Yeah, they submitted to Omen Ollelujah. It's very cute.
Wait a minute.
The puppet explosion. And so we sing Omen, Omen, Ollelujah. That just got me thinking, you know, that, you know, I also want to be some kind of example that if you want to sing and post something on YouTube and do stuff like that, it also doesn't have to be expensive. You may become gaslighted by all these incredible covers with so many animation stuff to believe that this is the only way you can post your music on YouTube. But honestly, nope, there are other ways. You don't even need to have an art if you don't want. You can just use, you know, the music video of the original music video and just post your voice in there, covers. Then if you really want to do something, you can do things on your own. You can learn, right? You can learn mixing. It's a difficult road to learn mixing, to learn singing, to learn art, to learn motion graphics, but it's all there. It's all out there for you to just take and reach and do yourself if you so want, and if you also have the resources for it. And I mean, it's not all that. That's why I did that cover. I just wanted to, at least going forward, I want to make a case also for just simply made covers. Just inexpensive, simply made, but just nice to listen to still. So that was also for me, because I was going crazy. I was going crazy with some of my projects. I'm like, I need to dial things down, bro. I need to dial things down. So that was partly also for me. And also because, you know, it kind of fit the vibe of the song too, Poka Poka Planet. And so I found this artist, AnYomogi QN. Their background work is so good. AnYomogi QN, the background work so good. And the kind of direction I gave them, the descriptions I gave them, is basically just a big landscape. Very big landscape. Wide angle, sky, snow, and then in the distance, Elysium, the city of Elysium. And then even more in the distance, the hollow tree. And then a little Octavio in the bottom. But make it so high res and high definition that you can zoom in and it still looks good. And the music video is basically just zoom in and then zoom out. Then zoom out at the end. And also for the vocals themselves, I don't know if you've seen on Twitter that I've been learning harmonies, and they're not super heard here, but these harmonies are all made by me in a different way, in a different process. Because what I tried to do before is basically listen to the song and then try and figure out try and listen to the harmonies. Just try and listen and just try and copy them. But what I did right now, just figure them out on your own. I wasn't even listening to the original song's reference. I just tried to figure them out on my own. And those harmonies that I put there isn't actually me singing. Those are artificial harmonies. I just tuned my original voice and tried and figured it out. And it actually worked. I didn't sing the harmonies. I just figured them out like note by note ish, and then mixed and then kind of EQ those harmonies. So yeah, artificial harmonies are a thing, definitely, especially in Vocaloid music too. Yeah, work smarter, not hard. Yeah, the harmonies aren't a super big part of the song, but you know, they help, and I think they're pretty cool. Saves time. It kind of saves time and doesn't in a way. It saves time if by moving, for example, you have a line, you move it up by like 3 semitones. And if somehow the stars align and they sound already really good, then you save time. But if not, you still need to do note by note adjustments until they sound good. And that takes time, especially if I'm still learning. So I try. I really tried. Does this sound good? Does this sound correct? And after listening multiple times, sometimes it doesn't. And you're like, it isn't heard, that's fine. It's not heard. But I think I did well with the harmonies and stuff, so that's pretty cool. And I also saw that post by Porter Robinson a few days ago. Like, there was this guy that posted that he listened to the Porter Robinson album on the plane with the cheap airplane headphones and enjoyed it. And then Porter Robinson was like, you know what, this is actually pretty comforting, because sometimes I think too much about why I focus too much on very small changes to a mix, like imperceptible changes to a mix, when honestly, people don't even hear it. Depending on what you're listening with, depending on who you are, they're not picking your song apart in a way. Then I saw that and I was like, you know what, that's actually pretty cool. I like that. Especially now that I'm gonna go into my music making arc for 2025. I think that's a nice little lesson to learn as well. And if you're like learning mixing, there's no need to be so, there's always these tutorials about EQ and you're like, oh, cut at 200 megahertz, cut at this kilohertz, and do a cut there, do a cut here. And sometimes it doesn't even matter. It doesn't even matter. No one will know that you did not cut at 2.5 kilohertz. A few will know, but it doesn't really matter. What matters is, does it sound good to you? And it will resonate with people that, they think it'll sound good too. And that's what matters, right? Yeah, the fine details are for people who really want to look for it, and for those who are definitely in that space where you need to know the fine details. But, for a Christmas cover after a weird Simbang Tavi, it should be enough. Yeah, I just feel my way around. I don't have like a scientific academic knowledge of music. I just feel it. What else is there to talk about? I'm not really gonna show the raw vocals anymore. It's a very simple cover. I wasn't really doing anything, like didn't really push my voice there. Although the song was still pretty difficult. It was still pretty difficult to sing in a way, because I needed to kind of soften my voice. Especially for the high notes, I needed to soften the high notes a bit. And I have a problem in softening the high notes. It's a bit difficult, but I'm trying to practice that. Balls be with you, and also with you. May you squeeze destiny's balls and never let go.